morning, critics, and welcome to the 18th episode of the Recreational Critics Podcast, the Project Entertainment Network, where we review streaming service films of our unqualified opinions. This week, we're going to go over the murder in the Orient Express. Knives Out, starring Daniel Foghorn Leghorn Craig. I'm your host, Jason, with my co-host,
James.
And before we get started, me and James are going to do our most hated segment of the episode, that weekly recap, and then go right into news. If you want to skip all that, there will be timestamps down in the description. First off, tomorrow is Father's Day.
It is.
Or wait, today's Father's Day. Depends on whenever you're listening to this.
Correct.
This episode will come out on Father's Day.
Yes, it will.
This is kind of a Father's Day themed episode on the movie, in a way.
A little bit.
If your dad dies.
That's so dark.
So a little bit themed that way. What did you do this week, James?
I worked a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You made Twitter for our fans to follow you at.
I did.
Yep. You need to put a picture on there. You're just plain old gray man.
I know.
You're just anonymous.
Yes.
But not that kind of anonymous.
Not that one.
Not the bad one.
Yes.
Or maybe the good one, depends on whichever side of the...
I'm at Rec Critic James now.
Yeah, good. I thought that was kind of funny. You put at Rec Critic James, where we're at Rec Critics Pod.
I am a critic.
Yep, and we are critics.
Yes.
I liked it.
And you're also limited on characters. So.
Oh,
Yes.
Damn it. I guess Pod is shorter than James, so that's where the little
Yep.
it comes into play. I started building kitchen cabinets.
You
this
did?
week with my soon-to-be father-in-law.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Did you pick a fancy wood like teak or something?
Pine.
Pine. Ooh.
It's cheap, and if you stain it right, it still looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to break your wallet getting what is it, like oak or whatever, or like cedar or something. We gotta save money. We have a wedding coming up, and
Ooh.
it's gonna be a big one.
Hey, do you want to tell everybody your idea for
how
you were going to propose to me to be your best man?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I want you to know it was 100% a joke. I'm not going to do that to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I was going to get...
Unless I really am going to get a toupee out of the deal. And then I want this to happen.
Would you wear it?
No.
I'm not going to do it.
You pick something like Kevin's from The Office.
That's what I did. Yeah, it was going to be... like a little, like what looks like a wedding ring box, and when I open it up, it would be like, "Will you be my bestest Minch?" on it. And there's gonna be a toupee.
Nice.
I thought it was fitting for all
fantastic.
those hairless jokes I make fun of you for. You got a monster there. You getting all energized for tonight?
I have a monster every week.
Not
I
every
literally
week.
bring one every week.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh. Do you dump them in that trash can right there?
I do.
That explains where those monsters come
You
from.
watch me do it.
I don't pay attention. I'm terrible at this. And I'm terrible at my job. And I got bit up by a ton of mosquitoes.
I think I killed all the mosquitoes on my motorcycle ride over.
So what happened on your motorcycle ride over today?
Nothing. There's just a lot of bugs out.
And what else happened? You get superpowers?
Oh, so one of the many bugs that I hit happened to be a lightning bug, or a firefly, as you put it.
Yep.
And it exploded and shot all of the glowing bits all over my shirt.
Always glowy juice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought, briefly, I might get superpowers. But
oh, wow.
Maybe when I wake up in the morning. But as it sits right now, I still feel like myself.
You're not super... well, I would say you're Firefly. That is a guy in DC Comics.
What are his superpowers?
He's actually an arsonist.
Oh,
he doesn't have any superpowers.
That's pretty awful.
He has a jetpack, and he's an arsonist who has like burns over his body, and Batman beats the shit out of him a lot. So he's not a hero. He's a villain.
I don't think I really want to be that guy.
You probably don't.
Okay.
I'm ready to get started into news if you are.
Yep.
My mouse is broken again. I don't know what's wrong with this mouse. I think Naomi broke it. So, the PlayStation 5 got some information released and leaked. Did you hear about this one?
I knew it got released, but I didn't know anything about leaks.
Right, so the leaks was its price. Amazon accidentally posted its price online.
Oh, wasn't it like $700?
Yes.
That's kind of pricey.
Right, for a console especially. And on top of that, there's two versions of the PlayStation 5 now.
Okay.
So there's one that has a disc option and one that's completely digital.
So one that has worthless parts in it.
Yes.
And
However, if you're a DVD owner, which I am not, you can use it as a home theater option, I guess. But if you're like the rest of society, you use Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and you download your games because it's better than going to GameStop. Hence why half the GameStops are closing.
Yes.
Especially in our area, a bunch of them closed down.
Yes.
It has some spec releases, and it looks like a Wi-Fi router.
I heard about this. Like, there's the mini fridge and then the Wi-Fi router or something like that.
The Xbox looks like the mini fridge, which it does. And then you can put it underneath like a glass thing, like a little glass table. And it can be your stand for your table. And then your Wi-Fi router can sit on top.
Nice.
It's wild to look at it. But they're getting bigger and bulkier, whereas the Xbox are, whereas the PlayStation is getting smaller and skinnier. But that's because they're removing the CD drive altogether. I
really want to see the specs for it. I want to see what it's actually capable of, not the ones that they say that it's going to have, because they always pump up those numbers.
And they lie.
Oh, it's going to have 100 FPS and it's going to be 4K. It's going to be so awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be 4K.
There's still people spending a lot of money on a PC
that can't get that.
Right.
And what it is under the most basic conditions that it can achieve.
If you run the minimum graphical settings,
right,
maybe you'll get close.
Yeah, and most times those games are optimized at one setting only, and you can't go in and adjust them.
Yeah.
Because there's no need to adjust them because they're made for that console specifically. So why adjust them, So games are built optimized for that console.
Glad I can get such a high frame rate on my Tetris modulator.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a console gamer. I'm a PC gamer, as you know.
Yep.
And one of the things that I think PlayStation has over Xbox is their exclusives that they offer. Because most times now Xbox exclusives go to PC as well. Whereas PlayStation hoards all their stuff, They bring it all in and they're like, you want Spider-Man? You can't have Spider-Man unless you buy our $700 system.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wild. Batman is going to start production 6 July 2020. It's not just Batman. The UK lifted all their filming restrictions. So now Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Damn it.
The Little Mermaid and The Witcher are going to restart filming. And they're going to have to go through social distancing, temperature checks every day, and safety trainings to be able to film. So movies are just going to get super delayed within the filming process alone. I can't imagine like Robert Pattinson showing up to work one day and he has like a 99-degree fever and they're like, or whatever it is in Celsius, because they're probably going to measure it in Celsius over there. What is that? I don't know, like 30 something maybe. And they come back and they're like, you can't film today. And it's like, all right, there's no Batman today. And everyone has to pack their shit and go home, because if he goes down, the movie goes down.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of dynamic filming.
Right.
Like, maybe we can do this today.
Yeah, that's gonna put such a hindrance on films like that.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to Fantastic Beasts. J.K. Rowling can stop shitting on her own legacy.
I'm gonna go watch the next one. I have to.
I have to, because first off, they left the last one on a cliffhanger.
I just want to see how bad it can get.
I actually want it to redeem itself.
No.
Harry Potter stuff.
I want it to double down on how bad it is. I want Gandalf to be an alien or something.
Isn't Ezra Miller in these movies?
I called him Gandalf, and you're not even going to say anything?
No, I don't care,
Dumbledore.
Man. Yeah, that one.
I want him to be a space alien.
Ian McKellen is in this movie.
I want him to be a space alien.
Space alien.
Yes.
Oh, real quick, speaking of Gandalf, Ian Holm passed away yesterday.
Yes, he did.
So rest in peace. He was 85, 88 years old. He was pretty old when he went, and it was pretty natural causes from what I understand. So, rest in peace, Ian Holm, who is Bilbo Baggins.
Indeed.
No, I don't want to. Ezra Miller's going to be in these movies, right? Isn't he like the main focus?
Yeah, I wonder if he'll beat anybody else up.
He's going to choke Dumbledore out. You want to go? Let's go outside, Dumbledore.
I don't think he can take the guy who plays Dumbledore.
Oh, Jude Law? No way. Ezra Miller gets his ass kicked. I would love to watch a 5-minute segment of a legitimate fight between Jude Law and Ezra Miller. Because Jude Law is not a tiny guy.
Make it happen. Please.
Come on, JK. Let's do it. And The Witcher. I'm kind of excited for season 2 of that. And I'm excited for Little Mermaid, so people get mad on the internet because she's black.
Yes.
That's always the best thing to me, is outrage over nothing at all.
Yep. It'll be fun.
Yeah. You can't turn the Little Mermaid black.
But my childhood.
Yeah, my childhood's ruined.
Yep.
Is it though? Like, they turn mermaid.
No. Not.
What is Jason Momoa? He's Samoan, right? Is he Samoan? I don't know what he is, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure he's Pacific Islander, but I don't know where from.
Right, where from exactly. I mean, they made Aquaman that, and everyone else in that movie is white, and no one batted an eye. Oh, wait, because his dad was Pacific Islander. Wasn't that how they twisted it?
Yep.
That's right. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? If it's a good movie, it's a good movie. It's like when they made Johnny Storm black, except that was just a bad movie.
We've already seen, like, the outrage that people can have because Right. Who are they going to cast to be the next James Bond? Idris Elba.
Right, and people blew up about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of, we have a Twitter reply about that.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I'll talk about that later. I made a little segment we got some fan responses finally, so it's about time. It only took 18 episodes.
We're doing it, Peter.
Yeah, we're illegal now. Our local theater is opening up, and with our local theater opening up,
just as coronavirus is getting
ramping back up.
Yes. This is some of the worst it's been here.
Right. Our cases have gone up tremendously here in Kansas. So we have both theaters opening up. What?
Just the word choice.
I did that on purpose.
I know. I'm just going to let it go.
Our local theater is opening up, and they're going to have Mulan in theaters and some Russell Crowe movie called The Unhinged, and then Tenet will come by on July 31st.
When's Mulan coming out?
It will come out when the theater opens up.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it came out in some places around the world already, and so when our theater opens up here July 10th, it will be viewable for us here.
I am not taking my kids.
Oh, well, it's not
to a theater.
It's not like that kind of Mulan, though, isn't it? More of a serious.
Yeah, but like they like Mulan.
There's no singing in this.
They don't give a shit about singing.
There's dragons in it. Where's Eddie Murphy? You can't just like cast Eddie Murphy to be some guy in the background.
They don't care about any of that.
Yeah, whatever. It was Eddie Murphy, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just being an asshole.
No, it was Eddie Murphy.
Just making sure. You got anything else on that you want to talk about?
Hockey may be starting up pretty soon.
Uh-oh.
Anybody who knows me.
Fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, you're a big
July
Las
30th.
Vegas Knights fan.
No. Stop. Don't go there.
I'm just kidding. You're a Washington Capitals fan.
I am.
Saw your wife post some Alex Ovechkin stuff.
Yeah, got our bobblehead and finally ordered it back in March.
Oh my God. You ordered it from Wish?
Foco.
What is that?
So it's like the bobblehead company. Right. But what they'll do is they'll put out a design and then they'll sell it and then they'll actually make it. So basically you're funding the build.
Oh, okay.
So it takes quite a while. And I knew it was going to.
Right. That's not too bad. If they build it specifically for you, that's pretty nice.
They don't actually make any product until people buy it. So they know exactly how many to make.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can get people to wait the 4 months and not complain too much, then it's a pretty cool business model.
Yeah. I mean, you would want it that way because then you're not buying a bunch of product and not selling it like your Herbalife or something like that. But distributor.
Yep.
Pampered Chef.
July 30th, I think, is when it might start back up.
There you go.
Everybody's going to be playing in, I think, 6 cities.
Which cities?
Vegas, mm-hmm. 3 Canadian cities.
Yep. Of course.
I think Florida was on the list.
Okay.
But today, 11
has like the most cases in the United States.
Today, 11 NHL players tested positive for coronavirus.
That's not good.
No, it is not.
Yeah. So NBA was talking about doing tests every day for players, and if anyone.
Yeah, they're wanting to play at Disneyland, right?
Something like that. Yeah, and if anyone pops positive, they're gonna shut down that entire team or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how sports are gonna go. I still speculate, along with other people, that eventually society we're going to stop reacting to this virus. But I think that's just the way people are going to go. Because
we're there.
Well, right. But like to the point of Kyrie Irving's going to test positive and the NBA is going to be like, well, you play or you don't play, It's just one of those things.
He's going to have to sit for 2 weeks.
Right. I think our society is at that point, as you said, of
mm-hmm.
I'd rather get paid than close down. I'd rather go watch a movie or go to hockey or whatever. But it's going to get to the point of we're going to be so jaded to this.
Funny thing is we're all going to pay for it.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually. It's going to be like the Spanish flu outbreak again.
I don't know that it'll get that bad, but it's going to get real bad.
Right. I don't think it's going to get to the point of 50 million dead bad, but it's going to get bad without a doubt. Have you heard about The Last of Us 2 debacle and controversy?
No.
Okay, so The Last of Us 2 is a game pushed out by PlayStation, and it's a very good story-driven zombie game.
I've heard a lot about it.
Okay. The second one came out after 8 years in development, I believe, and it features a main star who's played by Ellen Page, I believe, who is gay, and I believe there's a story plot with the transgender person. So it's very LGBTQ. You can imagine what happened on the internet.
Okay.
Yep. Game came out within 5 hours. It had 18,000 reviews on Metacritic by users, and for a 30-hour game, it had reviews at 1 star, 1 point, whatever. People were trying to say the story was bad, the mechanics are bad. You can't.
So they tried to sabotage it.
They tried to sabotage it. They tried to review bomb it, and you can't do that because you didn't even play the fucking game, you asshole. Yeah. Like, who are you to say this? So the first game, which got like Game of the Year, all kinds of awards, only had 8,000 reviews over the course of 8 years. and this game had 18,000 in the first 5 hours.
Yeah, so just some big coordinated effort.
It was a Reddit and 4chan, mounted campaign, if you will. And one of the developers of the game got on Twitter and said, "Oh wow, I can't believe all this overwhelming support of the game," just being completely facetious of what was going on. Like he knew, he just didn't give a fuck. Because people for months were talking shit on this, and story leaks came out, and people were just like, "I can't believe they're ruining this game."
Weaponized bigotry.
Exactly. Critics like me and you. Right.
Recreational
or professional. They gave it glowing reviews, which I believe is a Naughty Dog game. And I don't know if you know anything about that studio.
I don't.
They push out groundbreaking story. Uncharted, The Last of Us.
Okay.
Good platformers like Crash Bandicoot. Stuff like that. They push out good games. They're one of those few studios that people still like
respect,
have faith in.
They haven't EA'd themselves yet.
Right. I had respect for Rockstar games to a point, and then people bring up, "Oh, they're all microtransaction Grand Theft Auto 5 now."
Yeah.
And just stretching that game out over the course
of 10 years. Do you remember when you were a kid and EA Sports meant something? It's like EA Sports, it's in the game. And you were like, "Oh yeah, it's about to go down."
Yeah. And it was awesome.
Yep.
And then you're like, "Oh, Vince Young is on the cover. He's going to be injured this year for sure." It used to mean something. It did. And then EA became that big monetized company who just about DLC. And it wasn't just them. Microsoft pushed that agenda as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When Valve tried to release DLC for free for Left 4 Dead 2, and Microsoft said, "Oh, yeah, you can push out for free on your other platforms such as PC, but not on Xbox. You need to charge people for it." Like,
it's ridiculous.
They pushed that agenda. Like charging you a yearly or monthly fee to play online games, where there's no upkeep and no cost to even run those servers. It's outrageous what they think they can get away with, and not what they think they can get away with, what they can get away with. Because obviously
people still pay.
People still pay, and then PlayStation stooped down to their level. Nintendo stooped down to their level. PC's the last one on that front, trying to hold back.
Yeah, it's still around there. It's just not as bad.
Right, and I don't think it would even last on PC. I think if they tried.
People are too willing to just go play the next Steam game.
Yep, exactly. And Steam will just push things out for free
and
give you the big middle finger to every other developer because Valve doesn't give a fuck.
Yep.
They just don't. One last bit of news real quick. Comic legend Kevin Smith wants fans to make his own title for Mallrats 2 sequel. Or Mallrats sequel for the second one. So it's a call to action for all fans to come out and I
love Kevin Smith. I just adore him.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
He's genuinely a good dude. He's super smart in this kind of stuff, and he's a filmmaking legend. I mean, he's really good at it.
And the way he's financed his last few movies, he's really done such a cool thing.
Right.
Getting people to finance it and getting theaters to do small showings and have him tour with it.
Right.
It's just...
Because he knows what it means for him to show up on stage.
Yep.
And on top of that, the guy's a freaking beast. We talked about this years ago, him losing all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
What a dedicated individual.
Yep.
Like, he already has all the money. He doesn't need to lose the weight. Who cares?
Well, he had the heart attack.
That is true. He did have health conditions, and that really put things probably into his perspective for him.
Yep.
So, good for him, because he lost, like, probably close to 100 pounds, if not more.
Yeah, I want him to be around forever.
Yeah. Don't die. Him and Betty White need to hold on.
They're not really in the same category.
She can't die either, though.
Yeah. She posted online a while back. She's like, "I'm still doing good. Don't worry."
She is like 98 years old, I believe. Yep. Yeah, she's rocking.
Because if she goes F 2020, I'm done. Let's fast forward.
Do the Hunger Games little. I can't do the whistle thing, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to do it into the mic, but.
You don't want to get too loud, otherwise your wife would get mad at you.
Hey.
I'm just giving her a hard time.
Hey, it's called feedback, bro.
Yeah. Well, I never got it, so when you were like,
she told me the day before. I'm sorry.
No,
when I listened to like 2 episodes in a row, and she's like, "Jason gets really loud when he gets excited."
I don't mean to.
And I was gonna tell you next time I saw you, and then you're like, "Hey, I changed some stuff."
Yeah, listen to this, and you're like, "Yeah, Tina doesn't think that you're yelling anymore." I'm like, what?
No, she got excited when I was playing it on my laptop.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh my gosh, Jason's not yelling."
You told me that. I'm like, what? I yell?
Yeah.
I don't mean to. I talk too quiet sometimes. You're always much louder than me, so I feel like I gotta match your enthusiasm and your volume.
Yeah.
But you have that sweet voice for radio.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a Saturday night show. All right, I'm ready to get into this movie if you are.
You're not gonna talk about how we have music now?
Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna talk. I forgot. We have music.
You're just gonna drop it on people.
So we hired a guy from Fiverr who went through. His name is Bradley Pearsons.
Shout out.
I'm going to put his link down in the description
Sweet.
below. And go check him out. He made our music for us. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's only going to be for our main episode on Sunday. I'm going to look into possibly a different theme for our Thursday quickies.
Yeah, I kind of like how quick the Thursday ones are.
Yeah.
Because they just jump right into it.
Oh, yeah. And I think a little theme for that would be pretty nice, like a quick little one.
Yep.
Right into it. I also, we do run ads on this show for the Sunday episodes. I am going to stop running ads on our Thursday episode.
Nice.
So they're going to be like a little bonus thing for people so they don't have to feel like it's a cash grab for us kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone enjoys that. Don't forget to check us out Thursday. This week is V for Vendetta.
Yes, it is.
All right, Knives Out. I have to change my timestamp now because you got me all distracted on something
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. So, did you look up the budget for this movie?
40 mil.
40 mil. Not bad.
No.
This movie's shot beautifully.
It is.
If Rian Johnson didn't ruin Star Wars, I would actually enjoy this a little bit more. I'm just kidding. I like this movie. Don't get me wrong.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I like this movie, and I was like, God, he does so good in this. What happened? Was it studio involvement? Was it him? Was it actors getting involved? Was it producers?
I think that if they would have given him all 3 movies, it would have been fine.
Or even J.J. Abrams, if he gave him all 3 movies, I think it would have been fine as well.
Yes.
Their issue was they tried to break up a trilogy into 3 different directors, in which case they then had their course correct back to the original director so he can finish his original vision.
All 3 of them are looked at negatively.
Right.
Force Awakens is fine.
Yeah. But as a whole, it looks bad with all the other ones.
Yes, it gets drugged down.
And unfortunately, this is how the cookie crumbles. But we're getting off path on Knives Out. So
it's Rian Johnson. It's all linked.
It's all linked in a way. So it's basically a murder mystery, Clue, Murder in the Orient Express movie. I mean, they had like 4 of these movies come out in like the last 5 years.
Yes.
And
all of them have been good.
Yeah, I even liked Murder Mystery, which I'm not much of a Sandler fan, but it was all right. Like for Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston movie, which I didn't know they're like much of a duo now, but they do a few movies together.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually.
And then there was the date night one. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, the one of Rachel McAdams.
Yep.
And what's his name? He's in Hancock, and he's in the Ozark. Jason Bateman.
Yep.
So these movies are doing pretty well right now, and I hope that they don't beat this genre to a dead horse.
Yeah, I think it's just because they're so fun.
Right. So essentially the plot is rich grandfather publicist.
This had the shortest IMDb plot I've ever seen.
Did it? Okay, I'll let you read it then.
Not going to take me very long.
Okay. It's taking you a long time to open it.
A detective investigates the death of a patriarch of an eccentric, combative family.
Okay, well, that doesn't really do it justice. So
I just wanted to read it because you always make me.
Only on the quickies.
No, I do it on these.
Do you? Mm-hmm. My bad. Okay, so grandfather Harlan is killed, if you will. He's found dead the day of his birthday or the day after his birthday. Right. And he's a big-time murder mystery writer, and his children are very combative, and they're very controlling, and they're very confrontational and competitive. And it's who's who of who did it, right? Your classic Clue game. Who killed Harlan with the knife in the study? And you follow detectives reinvestigating his murder 1 week later. And this time they have Foghorn Leghorn at their side, a great private investigator to figure it out. And it's played by Daniel Craig, who is amazing in this role. He does such a good job. You wouldn't even think he was British on how good his accent is.
The accent's pretty bad.
I liked it. But
I liked it as well.
But it doesn't fit him. Like when you look at him, you're like, oh, that guy, he's not broad enough for that, that southern drawl.
Yep.
We're going to go down to the particulars of this evening. It's good, right? The one mechanic I hate about this, and it's like their truth-seeking mechanic, is that the registered nurse who works for Harlan, who is like his best friend and, his confidant. Yeah. She pukes whenever she lies.
Yeah.
I thought that was lazy writing because you always knew whether she was lying or not. And it sucked, right? Yeah. But Craig is onto her from the beginning. He knows that she's lying and he knows how she's involved, which I thought was kind of neat at the very end when they kind of tied that one in. But yeah, so you're trying to find out who killed Harlan. And you find out kind of right away.
Yeah.
How it all goes down. And I actually like...
Kind of.
Exactly. Kind of. from a point of view.
Yes.
And one way is I keep doing flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
What I did like, and this is going to get right into the details of it, as they're interrogating everyone or interviewing them, they will tell their side of the story,
mm-hmm.
right, on what went on that night. But they'll flash back to the truth. So, like, they'll do a flashback where one of the sons, played by Michael Shannon, gets fired from his dad's publicist company.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch the flashback. He's like, hey, son, I'm going to relieve you of your duty, enjoy your night, but you're done with my company. And then flashback to Michael Shannon in the present day going, no, nothing happened. Everything was good. It was a normal night. But you knew straight up this guy was lying.
Yep.
I would have hated it had it been you watched a flashback of Michael Shannon's twisted reality. Like, you watch Harlan go, nah, son, everything is good. Yep. And then later, Daniel Craig's character is like, something seems fishy about this. And then he comes back.
I love your southern accent because it's like the Iron Man 3 villain.
Trevor.
Yes.
Trevor.
Some called me a terrorist. Others call me a teacher. That's your southern accent.
Thank you.
I love it.
Oh, I'm pretty bad at impressions. I can't even speak my own accent, so whatever, man. And I would have hated it had he then at that point they do a flashback to the truth.
Yes.
If you would have had to rewatch those scenes multiple times, I would have hated that. And from multiple different perspectives.
You get to watch Daniel Craig's character figure it out.
Yes.
Rather than you figuring it out.
You already know what happened. To a point.
Mm-hmm.
They do throw the little twist in there, but it's not much of a twist because it's very obvious who the bad guy was.
Yeah, that part wasn't the twist for me.
Mm-hmm.
The part that I think really made me like this movie, because I did, was when he tricks her again with the medicines.
Yep.
And she gets it right.
Yeah.
And then you find out that she actually did the right thing.
Yeah.
I loved that part.
So what he's explaining now is the nurse gives Harlan his medication every night. And when she went to give him his medication, she gave him 100 milligrams of what she believed to be some pain medication. And then she was going to give him his 3 milligrams of morphine following to put him to sleep. She then realizes, after giving him the 100 milligram dose, that she gave him the morphine. Or is what she thinks.
Yes.
Because she reads the bottle that she just gave him. And she's like, Harlan, I just poisoned you. You're going to die. And he tells her, basically, and you find this out right away, that her name's Marta, by the way, so we'll refer to her as Marta. He tells Marta, all right, you have to get out of here and stage like I'm still alive for at least another hour, 30 minutes or so. So my family thinks I'm alive, but you're gone, and they don't blame you at all.
Yep.
And then he slit his own throat.
Yep.
And it's really chilling at first because you think Marta killed him, right? And she thinks that she killed him.
Yep.
But then you find out she didn't.
Yes.
And that's what you're talking about. She actually gave him the right medication.
Yep.
Because she's such a good nurse, she knew by the liquid, without having to read the bottle, which one was morphine and which one was whatever the hell his other medication was, right?
So you find out that he actually would have been just fine because she actually gave him the correct dose.
Right. And he killed himself for nothing.
In
a way.
Yeah.
One of the big twists is that in his will, and it's not really much of a twist at all, that he left everything to her.
Yep.
Not to his family. He was cutting them off one by one. And it's just the irony of how it all plays out. I didn't like was that he cut everyone out at once over the course of like 2 days and then gets killed. Or he kills himself, right?
He gets killed because he cut everyone out.
Kinda.
So he told Chris Evans' character, Ransom,
that
he was going to be doing that.
Yes. And so Ransom
swapped the medicine
and took away the antidote.
Yep.
That was another plot point. Like, the antidote was missing, so she couldn't save him in that 10 minutes she needed to save him. And Ransom, played by Chris Evans, hires Daniel Craig's character to find out that Marta is
Why would you hire a good detective?
Because he wanted her busted.
Right.
Right. But because he didn't think that she accidentally messed up the medication.
I
right.
guess you're right.
Yeah. So what happened was Chris Evans took the liquid out of the morphine bottle and put it in the good bottle and took the good stuff out and put it into the morphine bottle.
Yep.
So it was already switched. But when she accidentally switched,
because she used the right medicine.
She used the right medicine.
Yep. And then she looked down at the label and said, "Oh,
I used the wrong medicine." Because the labels were all switched. It was a whole debacle. And so he hired Daniel Craig to investigate that so she would lose the inheritance.
He didn't expect her to accidentally do the right thing.
Exactly. And the way Daniel Craig finds out that she did the right thing is from his toxicology report. And this part I also kind of hated it a little bit, right? So they find the toxicology report inside the house, and then she goes to give her speech that she's renouncing her inheritance back to the family, who's all angry at her and like trying to sabotage her to get their inheritance back. Like they're assholes. Like this whole family is. And Daniel Craig is in the background. At that point, maybe 5 minutes after they found the toxicology report, then decides to read it. You're a detective. You would have read that thing the moment you grabbed it, right?
I think he assumed it was going to say what she said it did.
Right, because she confessed the truth to him.
Yep.
And Ransom also...
She just can't not do the right thing.
Exactly. She's a good girl. She's a good lady.
Mm-hmm.
And Ransom also told them the truth because he was in on it because she told him. But Ransom was also the guy that...
Yeah, double agent.
Yeah, he was lying the entire time. It was obvious to me that he was the murderer.
Of course.
Well, because he's mad at his granddad the entire time. He knows what's going on before anyone else does. Like, he knew they were going to get cut out of their will, right? And it's Chris Evans. You don't hire that caliber of an actor.
There was a lot of high caliber actors.
Sure. Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, John Johnson. I can't think of anyone else really to be, other than Daniel Craig, to be the murderer.
Yeah.
Right? But it was obvious it was Chris Evans. You would hire that kind of relative actor who everyone knows in the current day to be the murderer.
Yeah.
You wouldn't hire him to be a side character. You would hire Michael Shannon or Jamie Lee Curtis to be a side character, right?
Yeah.
That's how I would do it. If I was going to hire the murderer.
Any of them could have been the murderer, and it wouldn't surprise me.
I kind of at one point thought they were going to go Polar Express on this, or Orient Express on this, and say they all were in on it. I'm kind of glad they didn't. And Marta came out the winner. She inherited the billions.
40 or 60 mil?
The millions, yep, in the mansion and all that stuff. I did like at one point, one of the sons was pissed off that he wasn't in the house. It's like, this is my family's lineage. And it's like, your dad bought this house in the 80s.
From a Pakistani real estate developer.
Yeah. Like, shut up.
He's like, shut
up. When Chris Evans is had, he confesses.
Yep.
And he tries to kill Marta.
Yep.
And he uses like a fake knife and that he doesn't know is fake. Do you think that whole wheel of knives is fake?
Yeah. It goes back to like...
It's like a Game of Thrones throne.
It reaches all the way back to like one of the first scenes in the movie, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, this whole movie, it really ties itself in together. You see everything come together as like a bunch of loose threads all to one center donut hole, if you will.
Yeah. This, like 2 hours and 10 minutes, I think is what it is. 2:20.
It goes by quick.
Yeah, there's not a lot of wasted time in it.
No, it's not. It's very quick. It's fast paced. It has good music, that keeps you engaged.
The music is so loud.
At points, it is. It starts off really loud too. Like
yeah,
they blare
you're trying
at
to
you.
trying to watch it, and then the dialogue will be quiet, and then the music will be crazy loud.
Yeah, it's no Hans Zimmer, but it's there.
Yeah.
I don't think I enjoyed how they made it seem like Daniel Craig's character is like this elusive genius. Like there's one point Marta is like listening through a glass and he pokes his head through the window like, "Hello, darling." Like, really? You're not like that good of like an observer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the way that he knew she was involved was she was in the room and he slit his throat and she had a drop of blood on her shoes. Just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It all tied together. Everything came back. If they zoomed in on anything, you knew it was coming back.
I like that he was more of a low-key, like, detective. If he would have just been in there Sherlocking it, it wouldn't have been any fun.
He called her Watson at one point. He said this house is like a Clue house, and he got killed like in Clue. They made so many of those like references to like obvious self-aware parodies of themselves. But yeah, he wasn't that kind of detective that like knew everything and went, I'm going to deduce all this. Like he stood in the back of the room and listened to all the talking and then purposefully set in motion like discord within the family trying to get them to rat on each other.
Yep.
The Nana was kind of wasted.
She was so funny.
She just stood there all quiet. Just
yep.
really
I liked how they used her.
To find all the pieces together of Ransom coming to the house twice.
Yeah, Ransom back already?
Yeah.
Or back again?
Right. When they zoomed in on because they do a lot of flashbacks to moments you already watched. When they did that flashback again to her saying that, I was like, oh, because Ransom was there. Mm-hmm. He also went up the window thing, and that explains the dog barking.
Yep.
Which you knew because they talk about dogs barking, and the only people the dogs bark at is Ransom.
Yep.
So it was obvious. What I didn't like was that there's two other cops that follow Craig's character, and this for layman's sense, the black cop and the white cop.
Mm-hmm.
The white cop is a huge like murder mystery fan. He's a huge fan of Harlan Thornberry, the murdered suspect. And the other cop, he just wants to go home.
Right.
He wants a job to be done. But he idolizes Daniel Craig's character, but doesn't let him do his job. Like, he fights him every step of the way.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, man, you're just wasting your time. We did all this. Everything's good to go. And Daniel Craig's character's like, none of this makes sense. They all were getting cut out of their inheritance. And he's like, oh, that's weak sauce. That's not motive. Yes, it is. They're losing a company, a house, millions of dollars. That's 100% motive to kill their dad.
Yeah.
He was like, that cop's like, whatever. No biggie.
Yep.
Who gives a fuck? I liked it. Did you also know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in this movie?
No.
He voiced one of the cops on the phone.
Oh, did he?
So when they called the station or whatever, and you could like hear like the muttering, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Why was he in that role? He's credited on IMDb. He's totally wasted.
Must have just been around.
Yeah, like, yeah, I can film a line or so. Like, whatever. I'm Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I have
Or somebody on the movie set just called Joseph Gordon-Levitt for the movie scene.
Daniel Craig just calls him up.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt has Oscars. And so it's wild to me that, you get an Oscar winner like that who's just hanging out in the background. I'm going to check over here. He has 2 Golden Globes. Oh, no, he was nominated for 2 Golden Globes.
Yeah.
He was not nominated for any Academy Awards. Which, whatever.
Daniel Craig is a big fan of those low-key cameos, though.
That's true. He's played in Star Wars.
Yep.
The Force Awakens. He was the Stormtrooper.
Yep.
Or Force Order Trooper, whatever they're calling them in that movie. Which I would say was as linked to Rian Johnson, but it's not because Rian Johnson didn't direct that film.
Yep.
So, whatever. He's a good actor, you know. I liked his accent. I know you...
No, I didn't say I don't like it. It just wasn't good.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And I just... When he called him Foghorn Leghorn at one point, I was like, oh, yep, there it is. That brings me back a little bit. I give this movie like a 7.
It's
solid.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm. I also want to let you know this was not a streaming service film.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it came out
but it was on a streaming service.
But it was on a streaming service, so yeah. It came out in theaters, but I was more than happy to watch it. We picked this movie because we did a poll on Twitter, and
you said no one was going to vote.
And we had some votes.
We did.
And nobody wanted the Five Bloods.
I wouldn't say nobody.
2 people.
Was one of you them, or was one of them you?
Yeah, it was.
Is the other one Naomi?
No,
oh.
I don't know who the other one was.
Gotcha.
But that one guy out there was keeping it alive for me for at least like a day.
Yeah.
I think I did a 5-day poll. And after like day 2, I was like, all right, well, Knives Out is in. Five Bloods is out. I want to do that one next week.
Okay.
Spike Lee movie, so I'm pretty excited for that. And I'm good to move on to movies of the week.
Let's do it.
All right. What'd you watch this week?
One thing that I watched this week was a show called Alone. Did I talk about this last week?
I think you started to.
I finished the
series. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's right. They put them out in the wilderness, right? And see who can out-survive the longest.
Yep.
This is like an extreme version of The Survivor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finished it.
Afraid.
The guy that I thought was going to win did win.
Good.
Really good. It's on Netflix.
I'm one of those monsters, those kind of reality shows like the Hell's Kitchen, stuff like that, where there's like a clear winner at the end. I just Google it. Because I can't sit through 8 hours of it to find out if my guy wins.
That's just awful.
And so, like, Naomi watched the show Love is Blind a little while ago. And I, like, it's about like couples meeting blindly and, like, whether they get married or not kind of thing. And, because they have, like, a week to fall in love and get married. Anyway, and they was like, I wonder if so-and-so's going to get married and blah, blah, blah. And I just sat there on my phone and typed in Love is Blind Season 1, who gets married. Saw all the names. Closed my phone and just sat there in silence.
You're a monster.
I didn't say anything to her.
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're not a monster.
I don't want to sit through it all. She sat there having a good time. I sat there hating myself. So, whatever. Besides Alone, what else did you watch?
So, Tina has gotten 100% hooked on Madam Secretary as well.
Good.
So now, if she has time as well, that's the show we watch.
There you go.
There's a lot of episodes of that show.
Yeah, my mother watched that show nonstop, and I don't think she even like scratched the show. I'm sure she finished it. My mom can binge watch the show in like 4 days, but she was watching a lot for a while.
I think we're on like episode 20 of season 3.
God damn.
And they're hour-long episodes.
Right. And they're story-driven, so you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
They're not like a comedy sitcom.
No, you can't just have it on.
Right. You have to pay attention because you're going to miss something.
Yeah, that occupied quite a bit of my week. And then other things like Inside Out with my kids and
Good.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Good. Yeah, a lot of Scooby-Doo. Again, Catherine's really into that, and she's been watching this weird like horror cartoon show on Netflix. I don't know what it is, but there's always like a cat like breaking windows and like banging his head against glass. I don't know what it is,
but she loves it.
She loves it. So that low psychopath can do whatever the hell she wants to do. And it's Father's Day, so I can say that about my daughter. I love her to death, but psychotic. I watched V for Vendetta, this week's quickie episode.
Yep.
And one of my all-time favorites. I've been catching up on F is for Family. The new season came out. Being a huge Bill Burr fan, I love the show. Bob's Burgers. I watch Observe and Report, that Seth Rogen movie. And then I've been listening to a new podcast called Rio AF. And we talked about this before the show started. He has a thing on a 75-day fitness and mental program. I'm going to put it in the link down below. I tweeted about it earlier this week. I want people to like give this guy a listen on this episode. It's a very interesting concept of mental and physical excellence and, fighting through borders and trying to fight against conditions that you can't control, and understanding that like if you start something, you have to finish it all the way through. You can't just half-ass something or stuff like that.
Yeah.
He explains it better than I do. He actually, if Tina thinks I yell, this guy's screaming at you the entire time, like one of those big fitness guys just yelling at you, like a CT Fletcher or something. Like, I just felt like I was getting scolded by this guy for not being strong enough.
It's like watching David Goggins' Instagram videos.
Is he the one that's in like the car?
He's an ultramarathoner.
Yeah.
He's almost always running.
Okay.
In these videos.
Then he's not the same guy I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of that big muscle guy who's just like screaming stuff, and he wears like a bandana.
No, that's not that guy.
Okay. You know what guy I'm talking about?
No.
I'll have to show you a video later tonight, because once you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's just guy screaming at you for no reason. You're like, I'm gonna get better, I promise.
No, I'm not.
I know I'm not. I'm gonna stay a fat sloth forever. Leave me alone. If you got nothing else for movies watched, I'm ready to go into fan mail.
Ooh, we got fan mail.
Not really, kinda. So I put a few things up on Twitter in the last few days, and I actually got some responses. The votes that we talked about earlier, which decided this week's movie.
Thank you all for voting, by the way.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it.
Thank you for voting my way.
Yeah, you bastards. But if anything, I want people to try and we might maybe look into this in the future. Maybe start putting up more polls of movies for us to watch and having more fan interaction of what they want. One thing I asked the people was, if your life was made into a movie, what would the plot be? I had a few interesting responses. One was Ragnar's of Riches from Ash Tone. My response was, started from the bottom, now we here. And I'm still at the bottom, so I can't relate to whatever life she's living. With that, I asked the same question on our Facebook, as you saw. And
we're really bad at social media.
We are. I just rehashed the same things I did last time. And I had two responses. One is from you, and one is from Miss Lafort. Miss Lafort, I do apologize for my response. I accidentally...
This is what I meant by we're bad at social media.
Yep. So I hit the wrong button. It came over my computer. It was like, oh my God, a comment. So I went in there to say something, and I thought I commented back to her reply on our post. What happened was I sent her a direct message from our page. Like a fucking creeper.
You didn't slide in those DMs. You stumbled into those DMs.
It was a complete accident too. And because on our social media, I try and differentiate who's talking. I always put, like a little tag Jason or tag James or, whatever. And I put my name in there in her DMs. And when I realized it was because she responded.
Yep.
And I was like, why am I getting a message from her now? What the hell? And I went and looked. I'm like, I didn't send that. And I had to go back and look at this thread and notice I did not comment back. I responded back. Which you did that once before, didn't you? Or you came across
I did something a little bit different.
Right. But it's along the same lines, right? Yeah. And so I had to go back and recomment my original reply with a little caveat saying, my bad.
Yes. So what I did was, one, I don't know this person. So I went to reply to your comment and accidentally replied to hers. I said something along the lines of, pretty much like those really bad horror movies, so a lot of bad decisions throughout. And so it basically looked like I was saying that she had made nothing but bad decisions. And I looked at it and I was like, oh God, what have I done?
Delete,
so there's only up there for about 15 seconds. So I deleted it and then moved it down to reply to your comment. So
good. Our last thing was I made a post about James Bond. We finished our Quickies series on the Daniel Craig Bond movies. I want people to go check it out and let me know what they thought. Shoot the Flick podcast wanted us to know that they love the series and each Bond has good and bad things they bring to the role. And my response was, if Craig didn't bring those damn gloves in Skyfall, because we've talked about that scandal before, so go check out that episode. It's one of our bonus episodes on our pod. The Awfully Irish podcast wanted to let us know he did not like the Craig series at all. He didn't feel it was a classic Bond movie. And that there were loads of rumors that Idris Elba was going to be taking up the role, and to be honest, would have been a much better pick. I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
But it's okay.
But it's okay for you to have your wrong opinions. We still love you.
I think that if people really like the old, like, campy Bond stuff,
the Roger Moore level stuff,
like, more power to him. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Idris Elba would have been
a better Bond
for that person.
Right.
I was a big fan of the idea of Idris Elba playing Bond, but I think he would have been grounded much like the Daniel Craig movies
I think gritty realism is what people want more out of movies and what sells more nowadays. Because when you start going campy, unrealistic stuff, people can't suspend disbelief for this stuff, and they're like, "Oh my God, none of that's realistic." Whereas like these kind of movies are like, "Okay, I can buy that a little bit.
I could do parkour on a crane."
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I could get shot through a bulldozer and run at him just fine and get shot again and live.
Yeah, that backhoe probably would have done that to a train.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Probably not.
Yeah. If I took a cyanide pill, that's how my face would look.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I'd rather it kill me. You look terrible. It was not as unsettling as Harvey Dent Two-Face in the Dark Knight movie, which was done amazingly.
Yeah, especially in 2008.
Right, but it was so unsettling the first time like they panned over and you saw his face. I was like, ugh. Ugh. Put Aaron Urquhart's face back on that, please. Please.
Covered up with some Play-Doh or something.
God damn. All right, I got nothing else for the show. If you got
Me either.
All right, so I want to thank everyone for listening to our 18th episode. We are all grown up and fully legal now. Don't forget to check out our other weekly bonus series, Quickies, out every Thursday. This week will be V for Vendetta. Catch us this Sunday as we cover The Five Bloods. With that said, if you liked what you heard, please leave us a like, a follow, tell your friends, send us a Twitter follow, retweet, and tell us what you want to hear more from us. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at RecCriticsPod or email us at recreationalcritics@gmail.com. If you want to reach either me or James individually, you can find us both at Twitter at jpaul_94 and James at RecCriticJames. So that's it from me. Hey, you got anything else, James?
Have a good one, everybody.
Happy Father's Day.